Hello everyone, welcome to Pharma 101. Today we will be discussing some of the basic definitions in pharmacy. These are the terminologies that every pharmacist needs to know, and you need to understand these basic terms in order to understand other concepts in pharmacy. So let's just quickly get started. So what is pharmacy? Pharmacy is the art and science of preparing and dispensing medication and provision of drug-related information to the public. So, pharmacists are actually people who are concerned with everything that is related to the drug. Right from the point an active molecule is discovered. By active molecule, I mean a therapeutic ingredient that is intended for the treatment, diagnosis, or prevention of a disease. So, right until a point that molecule is discovered, up until the point that it is administered in the patient, everything comes under the umbrella of pharmacy. And the role of pharmacist just doesn't end when the medication is given to the patient. It goes beyond that because then we have to monitor the adverse effects, the side effects of the drugs, or any other complications that may arise during the marketing phase. So, pharmacy is science as well as art. The art part is about making the medicines look more attractive for the patients to increase patient compliance. As you might be aware that children are not very they are very reluctant to take medicines, so we can design the packaging in such a way that it is attractive for them. We can introduce different colors, different flavors, and to make the medicine look more pleasing in order to increase compliance. And it also requires certain amount of creativity because you need to introduce new concepts, you need to get creative with the design of drugs, and also it comes in use when you're advertising medicine. So pharmacy, it has an art component to it and also a science component to it. The science part is about everything that is related to the development of a drug, all the testing that is involved in it, because we are studying and we are analyzing the therapeutic properties of the drugs. We are conducting different tests to study their effects in the body, and we are also gaining knowledge that is based on observation, and we're drawing logical conclusions from it. Therefore, pharmacy is also a science. And pharmacy also involves patient monitoring, which is evaluation of therapeutic outcomes and the adverse effects of medication, intervention, which is that if something does not go according to the treatment plan, we can modify the treatment plan and we can change it so as to avoid unnecessary harm to the patient and to improve the therapeutic outcomes of the medication. And also the provision of services that are created for the use of medication and devices. Pharmacists also dispense several services. These include dispensation of medicine, which involves screening of prescriptions for drug interactions, for adverse effects, verifying if the doses are correct, verifying that the right dosage form is given to the patient, and also providing compounding services because the medication that are available might not be suitable for everyone. It might not be available in a dose that is required by the patient, or the patient might be allergic to a component of the medicine that is present in the package form. And therefore the role of the pharmacist is to compound the medicine and to provide it for the individual needs of the patients. Let's move forward. Now we will discuss some of the basic terms. What is a drug and what is a medicine? So, drug is any chemical agent that is used in the diagnosis, mitigation, treatment, cure, or prevention of disease in humans or in other animals. So basically, a drug is any active pharmaceutical ingredient or any therapeutic agent that has been derived from natural resources or formulated in a laboratory, which is used for the purpose of identification of disease, reducing the severity of the symptoms of the disease, for the treatment or cure of disease, or for the prevention of disease, both in animals and in other animals, in humans, sorry. Alternatively, medicine, it is the final finished form of a drug. So, when a molecule is discovered, it is usually not safe for administration in patients. Therefore, we develop the drug in a formulation, which can be a tablet, a capsule in the form of the syrup, or maybe in the form of an injectable. So we design it in a way which helps us to administer the drug in a patient. So this final finished form of a drug is called the medicine, and that is the main difference between drug and medicine. Forward, let's discuss what is API or active pharmaceutical ingredient. We have already discussed this is the biologically active component of the drug, or in other words, this is the main ingredient in a drug which is responsible for the therapeutic effect of the drug and the action of the drug inside the body. Then the generic name of the drug reflects the chemical name of the drug, and it is used to identify the main molecule or the chemical ingredient that is present in a medicine. So let's just consider this example. We have a medicine called Benadryl over here. The generic name for this drug would be diphenhydramine hydrochloride, which is the main molecule which is responsible for anti-allergic properties and anti-allergic effect in the body. The brand name is the trade name of the drug or the name that is given by a pharmaceutical company for its product. So in this case, Benadryl would be the brand name and diphenhydramine would be the generic name. And this name is usually protected by a patent. Then we have Pharmacopoeia. It is an official book that has the list of different drugs, and it contains information on their physical properties, for example, their melting points, boiling points, their refractive index, their densities, and it also has various tests so that we can identify which drug is there. Then to establish the purity, because oftentimes these active ingredients are not in their pure forms and there are many different chemicals that are mixed with them. So in order to identify the purity, we need these tests to identify the potency. So all this information is present in pharmacopoeia. Usually every country has its own pharmacopoeia. For example, the United States has its pharmacopoeia called United States Pharmacopoeia or USP. This is a term that you will frequently hear during these lectures, and you will often hear people referring to the USP. So just keep in mind that it refers to United States Pharmacopoeia and BP represents British Pharmacopoeia. We also have pharmacopoeias from other countries, but usually USP or United States Pharmacopoeia is considered as the standard. So now we have the core branches in pharmacy. There are basically four branches that come under pharmacy: pharmaceutics, pharmaceutical chemistry, pharmacology, and pharmacognosy. So pharmaceutics encompasses all the processes that a drug is subjected to at the end of its developmental stages. So once the drug is approved after preclinical and clinical trials and it has been approved for manufacturing, there are a lot of different processes that take place in order to convert that drug into a medicine, or in other words, to formulate that drug in the form of a dosage form. That is to make it into a tablet or into a capsule or in a syrup or in any other dosage form. So pharmaceutics, it encompasses the study of physical pharmaceutics. This is the study of the physical properties, and these are all important in the design and formulation of dosage form. Then it also includes biopharmaceutics. So here we study the different body systems, and we study how the drugs arrive in those systems after their administration into the body. Dosage form design includes the sciences that are involved with the design of a particular dosage form. For example, when we manufacture a tablet, there are several parameters that we need to take into consideration. So the dosage form design involves all those principles and concepts and the processes that are utilized in the formulation of a dosage form. Then pharmaceutical technology and manufacturing. This involves the manufacture of pharmaceutical products on a small scale, intermediate scale, and then large scale. Pharmaceutical microbiology, the efforts in microbiology are focused on sterilization of medicines so as to avoid the presence of microorganisms and other pathogenic organisms in the medicine. Product performance testing, this can include dissolution tests, disintegration tests, stability tests, and other tests that are conducted to test the performance of medicine. We're going to discuss these tests in the upcoming lectures. So for now, just remember that product performance testing involves all of those tests that are utilized to assess the performance of a drug inside the body. Discipline in pharmacy is pharmacology. Pharmacology is the study of substances that are interacting with the body's systems through chemical processes. So once a drug is administered in the body, it reacts with the various receptors in the body and with the different biological systems of the body. So the study of these interactions is known as pharmacology. When the drug binds with its receptor, it activates or inhibits those receptors, and therefore it produces its action in the body. This action can be beneficial or it can be harmful. Medical pharmacology is again the study of drugs, the way they interact with other molecules in the body and how they affect the body. These effects can be beneficial or harmful. Toxicology is the study of undesirable effects that are produced by drugs in the body. So not all effects of the drugs are beneficial. There are many drugs that produce toxic effects, and there are also some drugs that produce therapeutic as well as toxic effects. So the study of these undesirable effects comes under the term toxicology, and we are studying these toxic effects at the level of individual cells and also in complex ecosystems. Here we have a simple diagram to explain these processes. So when a chemical comes in contact with the patient, or when a chemical is administered in the patient, it goes to its intended target tissues, and when it goes to its intended receptors, it produces its therapeutic effect or beneficial effect. But this drug can also go to the unintended targets, and when it goes to these unintended targets, it produces toxic effects in the body. When the chemical interacts with the environment, or in other words, when the chemical comes in contact with the other organism or with the other species, then this study of the effects of chemical is known as environmental toxicology. Now, there are two basic concepts in pharmacology. So we have here pharmacokinetics. It is a study of absorption, distribution, metabolism, and elimination of the drug. So in other words, it is involved with the study of the action of body on drugs. That is what the body does to the drug. When the drug is administered in the body, it is first absorbed by the body, then it is distributed throughout the body, it is metabolized, and then it is excreted. So all these processes come under the umbrella of pharmacokinetics. Then we have pharmacodynamics. Pharmacodynamics is basically the study of the effects of drugs on the body, or in other words, what the drug does to the body is pharmacodynamics. The third core branch in pharmacy is pharmacognosy. It is the study of drugs that are obtained from natural resources. So when we are looking for a new therapeutic ingredient that can be used for diagnosis, treatment, or cure or prevention of a disease, we look for them in different resources. And natural resources serve as a very good source for the drugs and for these active molecules. So when we isolate these drugs from natural resources, we study their physical, chemical, biochemical, and biological properties. We study their effects in the body, and then we look for other drugs that can be obtained from natural resources. The study of this entire process, the isolation of drugs from the natural resources, the tests that are involved in studying the properties of these drugs, they all come under pharmacognosy. The fourth core discipline in pharmacy is pharmaceutical chemistry. It is the study of the chemistry of medicines, their composition. Uh, Basically, it involves the study of the structure of the medicine and the active pharmaceutical ingredient, how these medicines are synthesized, what tests are used for their analysis, for testing their purity, for testing their potency, for testing the presence of other ingredients, the conditions that are required for the storage of these medicine. You might be aware that every medicine needs to be stored at a certain temperature in order for it to remain stable, and we determine these storage conditions through testing, and this comes under pharmaceutical chemistry, as well as it involves a study of the actions of drugs inside the body. So it is basically pharmaceutical chemistry is basically related with the drug discovery process. We isolate the drug from its natural resources, we study its properties, we perform different tests to determine its physical and chemical properties. We study how the drug is processed in the body, how it will be absorbed, distributed, and metabolized, what will be its effects in the body, and we are also taking care of quality assurance and quality control. So we have to make sure that the medicines meet the quality standards that have been set by international regulatory bodies. So this entire process and the study of all these aspects in drug discovery and development comes under pharmaceutical chemistry. Other definitions that you should be aware of in pharmacy include pharmacogenomics. It is the study of how an individual's genetic makeup can alter their response to drug. So the way your genes are coded and your genetic makeup can determine the way you respond to drugs, and the study of this relationship comes under pharmacogenomics. Pharmacovigilance is actually the monitoring of effects of drugs after they have been approved for marketing and after they have been formulated into medicines and administered in patients. So when the medicines are developed and once they are marketed and they are consumed by patients, there may be some effects that are discovered after a certain number of people have taken those medicines and after they have been using for certain periods of time. These effects only come to surface during the post-marketing administration. They might have gone unnoticed during clinical trials, and the study of these effects and monitoring of these effects comes under pharmacovigilance. Pharmacotherapeutics, it is the clinical purpose or indication for giving a drug, or in other words, the purpose for which the drug is given to a patient. For instance, it could be for vomiting, diarrhea, fever, or for any other purpose that the drug is given. Compounding, it is actually the practice of combining, mixing, or altering the ingredients of the drugs so that we can create a product that caters to the individual needs of a patient. There may be times that the available form of the drug is not compatible with the needs of the patient, or the available medicine has a component that causes allergy in the patient, or it might be possible that the available dose is very high and we need to produce a lower dose. That is where compounding comes in use, where we can manufacture the drug on a small laboratory scale so as to address the individual needs of a patient. Dispensing is the process of preparing and giving medicine to a named person on the basis of prescription. So when a person comes to the pharmacy with a prescription, the process of filling the prescription, giving the required dosage of the medicine for a certain amount of time, it all comes under dispensing. It is one of the most important services that is dispensed by the pharmacist. So that was it with the basic terms and terminologies in pharmacy. Hope you found this video informative. Please like the video and subscribe to our channel Pharma 101. Don't forget to turn on the bell icon so that you can be notified when new videos are available. Thank you for watching. See you soon.